Hello and welcome back to my channel. Now, I do usually avoid talking about costs, the costs of our renovation and the various projects within our renovation, and even the last one that we did at our old house. And that is for one reason and one reason only, and it is the fear that those of you who are perhaps inexperienced at renovations, maybe you've just bought a fixer-upper and you're about to embark on your first ever renovation, or maybe you're just pondering the thought of buying a fixer-upper and renovating it up to, however you want your home to be. My fear is that you guys will assume that our renovation costs will be your renovation costs, or any other person that you're watching who is renovating. And I can't stress enough how that is not the case. And I know many of you will know this, but I have had countless messages from people who have got a project or they're thinking of buying a fixer-upper and they're asking me how much will it cost. Costs will vary. Even two houses that are identical next to each other in the same area, I can bet you any money that those two houses on whatever renovation is going on in there will vary. Right, so there are going to be a few things which affect the cost of your renovation. Number one is the area in which you live. This will vary depending on where you are in the country and I suppose even the world. Number two is the tradespeople or who you choose to do your renovation, and also how much of it you do yourself. And finally, hidden issues. This is the one element that we cannot control. You can do as much DIY as possible. You can get all of the various different quotes. You can get the best deal on your raw materials, but you cannot control the hidden issues because you don't know they're there. And those are the things which it's always good when you're setting up your budget. These hidden issues are always a good thing to kind of have a little bit of a buffer budget just in case anything like that crops up. And if it doesn't, then you've just got some bonus money in the pot. Right, so in today's video, I'm going to go through all of the larger projects that we have done thus far in this house, not just painting a room and just redecorating, but the larger projects. And I'm going to break those down so that you guys can kind of see the various different costs for various different elements within each project. And then you can also see the whole cost as well. Now, bear in mind that we are UK based, so prices and costings are going to vary depending on where you are in the world, and also different processes. There will be lots of different methods and different ways of doing things depending on which country you're in. Right, so I'm going to start off with the first project that we did, and that is our kitchen. Now, when we bought this house, our kitchen was relatively new, so we definitely didn't need to demolish it. So this project was more of an upcycle of the units, and this actually cost much less than buying a whole new kitchen. Our kitchen also already has an extension, so we didn't need to extend as most people do with kitchens in the UK. That said, it is a very large space, and I'll put the square footage on screen so you guys can see. So various things like flooring and paint cost a lot more just due to the sheer size. Right, so first up, Simon removed the old floor tiles, and these actually stretched into other areas of the ground floor, so that was all done in one go. The cost of which for this was completely free for labour, but as the tiles had to be broken up, we bought a corded heavy-duty breaker, and that cost £100, which technically could have been hired, but now that's a tool that we've got for any future projects, both here, like potentially the patio, and also any projects that we might have in any future houses. We also removed the excess units, and these were sold on Facebook Marketplace to add some money into the reno pot. So this was again a free DIY, and by selling the units, we then were up £100. Adjusting the layout of the existing units was also free. This was a DIY, Simon did this. And he also added in a couple of new units, which of course the labour for that was free, and the cost of units was £50. We had new kitchen worktops, which are quartz, installed, and that was £2,785. Now we do have quite a large kitchen island, so that definitely increased the price. Now, as I said, we upcycled our existing kitchen units from the grey gloss up to this matte black wood effect. These were wrapped by a brand called Cover Style, and this was part of a collaboration. So fortunately for us, this was free of charge, which I totally understand is not going to factor into anyone else's renovations. But kitchen wrapping is a great way to revamp a good quality kitchen without having it all replaced. So it's much more cost effective. We bought 2 Billy bookcases and the matching doors for £160, and these flank either side of our fridge, and this created a little IKEA hack, and we also had those wrapped. New appliances, we bought a microwave and an oven, and we bought those in the Black Friday sales, which I highly recommend doing because you can save some really good money, and those came to £740 together. We chose not to replace our hob because it was perfectly fine. Our boiling water and filtered water tap bought from Luso Stone and black stainless steel sink came to £806. The tap was fitted by our plumber at the same time as he was replacing our boiler, so we kind of didn't count this in the cost because the boiler replacement was a much larger cost. Now here is one of our hidden surprises, and that is that the entire ground flooring was not level, and that's at base level. So we had to have the entire ground floor screeded, and that cost £1,300. Bearing in mind that the kitchen doesn't make up the entire ground floor, but that was a cost we incurred at the time. We bought LVT flooring, again for the entire ground level, including some areas that weren't going to be renovated for some time. All the flooring altogether cost £5,000, but I've estimated that just for the kitchen area it would be £1,666. We had an electrician come in to install the new appliances and also a couple of other bits and bobs within the kitchen, and that came to £200. A custom floating shelf was created by our carpenter and installed for £200. Paint came in at £188, and as most of you will already know, we use Little Green paint, which is a very premium paint, therefore comes with a premium price tag. And the cost of painting, as you all know, was free because I do the majority of the painting. So the total cost for our kitchen renovation was £8,695, excluding the cost of the double doors that we had put in, which I'm actually going to break down for you now in a separate project. Okay, so this was a single door, which we turned into double doors. So the labour for cutting out the wall was £500, including a lintel, and this just took less than one day. We then had a carpenter in to come and install the doors and to also install a new door frame, and this was £250. The cost of the double doors themselves was £750. Plastering was about £100 max. This is a rough estimation because our plasterer did this on the same day that he was plastering another project, so he just said that he'd slot it into the same day. We had some wall paint left over for the walls, so all we had to buy was paint to paint the door frames to match the black on the doors. This cost £30. And again, the labour of painting was free because this was another DIY. So the total cost of this project was £1,630. On to the next project now, and this was replacing all of our old UPVC leaded windows on the ground floor with black slimline aluminium windows and replacing our front door. So windows wise, we had 9 windows and they all totaled up to £11,110. Now, there is a side note to this. Some of our windows are huge, and if I stand next to them, you'll see they are ginormous. Our lounge, for example, had a set of 4 large windows, which we decided to change to 3 even larger panes. So they required toughened glass, which added to the cost. We also chose to have top-hung windows for the windows that do open, and the bonus of these is that you can have them open even when it's raining, so it's great for muggy days in summer, and we've had a lot of those this year. And we had the bathroom window done with opal glass for privacy. We replaced our old front door with a new composite door from the brand Endurance Doors. This is flanked with 2 glazed side lights either side, and the total cost for this plus fitting was £1,940. Now on to the next project, which was replacing our bifold doors and raising them to where they should have always been. So this project was one of those which is definitely not one everyone will have to do. In fact, I'd be surprised if anyone had this situation. If the original set of bifolds had been installed properly, then this project would never needed to have been done. So when we get to the total cost, you'll understand our stress over this project. But alas, that was not the case. So a new set of black aluminium bifold doors in the size that we have here was £3,100. Now this is actually less than their full cost, but unfortunately we had a real nightmare with the company that we ordered from with regards to them actually being made on time. Ours were actually 4 to 5 months late. And then they were damaged when fitted. So we did not pay the full balance because the company refused to come and fix them. So we then had to pay an additional £500 to a different company to come and have them fixed. Labour costs for all the structural work to raise these doors was £4,500, with the addition of a steel beam that was £700. So the total cost of this unnecessary project was £9,200. Now on to our biggest and most costly project, the garage conversion and the dining room. These were both done at the same time, so all of the costings are together. And we do have videos for both of these projects if anyone is interested in seeing the whole process and exactly what we had done for these costs. So first of all, before anything happened, we had a structural engineer over. This was the same guy that did the bifolds. So this cost was £400. And this was not £400 altogether, that was £400 for this project and an additional £400 for the bifolds, which I've just gone through. We then had to have an architect because we of course were converting our garage, and the cost for this was £900. We then had to go through a process similar to planning permission, but it's called building regulations, and this cost £200 to submit our plans. And just for reference, this took 4 months to go through. The labour cost for both projects was £8,500, including most of the materials. The steel beam was an additional, so this was £850. Now, as our garage was a lower level, we had the floor raised and then we had that screeded all the way through into the dining area. And the cost for this was £900. The electricians were £1,000. Paint again was £188. We used the same LVT flooring, which we'd already bought, as I mentioned, in the kitchen project, and the estimation for the amount of flooring for these 2 rooms is £1,500. We had 2 new aluminium windows, which cost £1,650, and then we had 1 external door, again by Endurance Doors, which was £1,600. The double glass doors and barn sliding mechanism came to £395. And the single door, which leads into our now utility, was £129. Leaving us with a total cost for these 2 projects of £19,772. Now on to our final projects, and again these are 2 projects which were done at the same time. So we had a complete rip out of our ensuite bathroom, and we also had a complete rip out of our downstairs bathroom, or WC. So the labour cost for both of these projects was £3,000, and this includes ripping out everything, plumbing and installing all new fixtures and tiling. All of the tiles in our ensuite were free because that was part of a collaboration. The fittings for the ensuite, which include a rather expensive marble basin and all of the grout and trim, came to £3,200. All of the fittings for the WC, or downstairs toilet, which also include another marble basin, all tiles, grout and trim, was £1,300. The paint I used in both rooms was again free, as this was part of the same collaboration. And then we had new doors, one of which for the ensuite was a pocket door and had to be installed. This came to £500. So the total cost of these 2 bathrooms was £8,950. Right, so there we go. That was a thorough breakdown of all of the larger projects that we've done in this renovation. Thus far, there are obviously going to be more coming your way very soon. And if you did find this video useful just for all of these costing breakdowns, perhaps if you are in the UK and you're doing a renovation at the moment, you can kind of get a bit of a rough gauge on how much a bathroom rip out costs or how much a steel beam costs or a garage renovation. So if you did find it useful, please do let me know down in the comments below, and perhaps we will include this information in any further renovation videos. But for now, that is it from me. Thank you as always for watching, and thank you so much for all of your comments and things around my birthday and my COVID recovery on the last video as well. So thank you as always, and I will see you next time.